Losing is hard. Losing in Starcraft is especially challenging. How do you make peace with this and continue playing? These are my thoughts and ideas about this topic and how I personally deal with it. The first thing that I would say to new players is to first accept that you are going to lose, accept that you are going to lose in spectacular fashion, and whenever you lose, it's going to feel bad. I think it's important to understand that losing is an inherent part of StarCraft 2. I have made peace with this fact that I will lose. I will lose games from positions where I have everything going for me. And honestly, it always feels bad. So I was playing a game the other day. I was playing a mech Terran, and even though I was winning, I was very stressed the entire time because I know how challenging it can be to close these games out. Sometimes one mistake can take an incredible position and instantly turn it into a loss. Even though I was winning, I was stressed out just as much as if I was losing. And I've been in this situation many times where I'm very confident about my position within the game. And then when I'm confident, I get very relaxed, I get very overconfident, and I am very capable of fumbling the ball on the 1 yard line. And again, losing is not fun. Even if you are improving and you are gaining MMR, increasing in rank, you're still gonna lose about half of your games. Half of your games is a lot of games. And you know, sometimes you'll lose games that are very close. Sometimes you'll lose games that aren't close at all. And sometimes you'll lose to just straight up silly strategies. Again, this isn't fun, but it is inevitable, right? I think that this is something that every competitive player has faced and experienced, and it's gonna happen. So how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this as a player that's trying to improve? How do we deal with this, and how do we prevent ourselves from mentally collapsing? Okay, so your mileage may vary with these strategies. Everyone is going to be different, but I'd like to share my strategies for dealing with this. As someone who plays many games and loses many games as well, I just want to share how I deal with this. So the first thing I do is I try to laugh it off, right? Sometimes the way in which I lose a game is honestly pretty hilarious. Sometimes the bad decisions that I make are really funny when I have a chance to think about it. I think there's a lot to gain from learning to laugh off these situations. Again, this might not work for everybody, but it helps me deal with it. The other thing that I do is I try to just focus on my decisions relevant to the situation, right? I think I see a lot of people who will focus all of their attention on their opponent's decisions, and I feel like that's always very distracting and frustrating, but that's also not the most important thing for trying to improve, right? Your opponents are going to do wild stuff, and it's usually up to you to figure that out and to shut it down. Again, I know it's frustrating. I know this is very frustrating and always challenging to do, but you really can't be mad at your opponents for the decisions that they make. So when I'm looking at my choices, I'm asking myself, did I make the correct call? Why was the call that I made incorrect? You know, how much of a lead did I actually have when I threw this game, right? What did my opponent do well to get back into this game? And I think all of this can be learned from the replay and learned from understanding the situation. The other thing I really try to focus on is, even if it's a very uncomfortable situation or a situation where I throw a massive lead, I think it's important to learn from that situation, right? In a game of infinite possibilities, I run into new situations all the time. There are many times I play a game and I'm in the game and I'm like, wow, I have never had this happen before. Sometimes I will lose a game from misunderstanding the game state, right? Sometimes I think I'm really far ahead and I'm actually behind. It takes time to really understand every situation and every correct response. When I'm in a game, and even when I feel like I'm enacting the correct response, it may or may not even be the right response for that situation. There's a lot of times in the game where I do not have time to think about the most perfect, correct thing to do. I just do the thing that I can do the easiest and the fastest, right? I think it's really important to still just understand the situation, right? If you throw a massive lead, you really need to understand how you threw that lead, right? How your, production cycles got messed up, how your opponent was really annoying with the small amount of harass, or maybe you had a misunderstanding of how many bases your opponent had, or maybe there's a misunderstanding in the response you chose to what you saw, right? And again, even if I lose in an embarrassing way, I still want to gain knowledge from experiencing this situation, right? Laughing it off, focusing on my own decisions, and understanding the situation, right? These are the things that really help me get good value out of embarrassing losses. So anyways, you're gonna lose. It's gonna happen. It's gonna feel embarrassing, but it's really important to understand it and then move on from it. So here's a recent example that I had in a game. This is something that I definitely did very unassisted from my opponent. This was probably the worst fight I had ever taken in ZVP. And I just want to talk about it because it's just, I don't know, it's funny. Like what happened is that I set up a really good engagement versus a Protoss army. I had a good surround. I had the units. I had the right amount of units. I had a great positioning. But when the fight started, I accidentally blew up every Baneling and simultaneously move commanded all of my Ravagers into the army of my Protoss opponent. So what could have been a beautiful surround with great Baneling connections and Ravager corrosive biles raining down ended up me just completely dying. So in an instant, I went from a great position economically, army composition wise. I had the eco, I had the engagement, I had the right units, and I blew it. And I blew it in a very spectacular way. And, it wasn't a fun experience, but it's something that I can laugh at and move on from, right? And here's the reason why this happened. Like, I know why I did it this way. And honestly, I'm still happy with my decisions and choices within that game, right? The thing that lost me the game is really just a choking of my mechanical execution, right? The choices and understanding that got me to that situation, I thought, that's great. I thought I did pretty well. Sometimes in StarCraft, you can play 90% of the game correctly and then throw that last 10% and find your way into a loss, right? And I think it's always important to kind of frame it within those circumstances. Anyways, it's hilarious to me how challenging this game can be, and I hope you can find the humor in it. Honestly, it helps me sustain an ability to keep playing, and it helps me not get as tilted if I can laugh at myself. I don't know, like enjoy my pain, learn to embrace the pain. It's hilarious how challenging this game can be, and I really hope that these techniques can help you frame a loss in a more productive fashion. And I hope that they help you learn how to lose effectively. I know it's rough out on the ladder, but I believe in you. Hang in there. Anyways, have fun losing. All right, hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I also stream on Twitch. I stream mostly ladder. I really enjoy talking about this. You can watch me try to improve on stream. It's a good time. Come check it out. I also have a podcast where me and my friend Will talk about the ladder and talk about the struggles and the pain and the triumphs of the ladder experience. So if you want to check that out, that's also down below. But again, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here.